Hi everyone. I wasn't sure if I was supposed should come to do this, but we'll try it, see how people are responding to it. It's the Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls Trip, and I'm gonna be pretty frank. Well, this is the first three episodes in one, so I'm gonna be pretty frank at the moment. Some of these people I don't know because I don't watch. And so I'm gonna start with the Miami people. So Alexia and Marisol, I do not watch Real Housewives of Miami. And one of them made a comment about they were the OG, and I was like, OG? The OG is Real Housewives of Orange County. And then they made a comment like, oh, well, we been off the air for 8 years and then we came back. And I was just like, okay. Um, I just, I mean, do they talk about the Miami group that much? And I know that this year people have been talking about them, saying that more people should watch because they're more honest. It's a better show and stuff like that than Potomac. But I've never liked the Potomac show, and I've tried several times to watch it, and I still don't care for them at all. But anyway, so Alexia and Marisol, they speak English and Spanish at times, and I did not like when Giselle was like, "Hey, stop speaking Spanish, stop." Because she literally always thought that everybody, every time they speak Spanish, you're talking about her. And I was just like, you do realize that you are not the center of their universe. Like everybody doesn't just turn around and when they're speaking in their native language, like everyone's not talking about you. So I thought that was weird, but at the same token, inoffensive, and racist. But Giselle is apologize and I appreciate her apology. And um now y'all gonna have to help me. Let me make sure who's who because one of them drinks like a lot. And I was like, you do realize that she up here talking about I don't drink that much. Let me see. Is it Marisol Patton? Let me see. Who's the cast of Real Housewives of Miami? Marisol Patton. Okay, so Marisol Patton is literally talking about my stomach hurts, and she's making snide comments to the girl from the Real Housewives in New York being a recovering alcoholic, and Marisol's like, well, you can't control your liquor, but I can control mine. And she drinking every day. She's like, I drink every day. She's like, my stomach hurts. Well, and they literally, her and Alexis, like, yeah, maybe and Portia, the way to fix a bad tummy from mixed drinks is to have just a plain drink. And I was just like, in what world are we thinking that if your tummy hurts, wait a second, if your tummy hurts, then you have more drinks. Usually, your tummy hurts like this, you should stop drinking. Maybe have some water. Maybe have a Sprite. Maybe have Pepto-Bismol. Maybe go to the doctor. You should not be drinking. The notion of like, I know how to control my liquor, and you're drinking every single day, ma'am. You know what this is called? Alcoholism. Like she is literally every time. And I know that you're on vacation, so you can drink, but she's drinking from as soon as she wakes up, it is, can I have a vodka with a splash of pineapple? Usually it's pineapple juice with a splash of vodka. It's not vodka with a splash of pineapple. Alcoholic. Anywho, um, Alexa talks a little bit about her. her fan her husband dying. Her and her husband have been separated. They she loved him, and this man is in a whole other relationship with another man, and he dies. And she goes and meets with his lover, and she's like, "Yeah, I may have not done it if it was a woman, but I mean, the her level of acceptance, I was like, what? Wait, what? Maybe I do need to watch Miami because this is crazy. Who goes out and your husband is is having a full on relationship with the man? You're cool with it, and then you're like, oh yeah, well maybe he was bisexual. I don't know. And look, y'all are way too like non-earth shattering for me. I don't get it. Now, in the midst of now I will admit that Alexia has told this story multiple times, but she didn't tell the whole story the second time. She told this whole story the second time to everybody. The first time she only told it to a select few. So I get that, but while she's talking, the New York girl, Leah, is rude and is like, I'm bored. and and so they're like, well, Giselle's like, well, tries to clean it up and tries to be like, well, it's not that bad, trying to say that if you want to tell your story, that's fine. And even if it may appear that it may be boring, it may be boring, maybe it may be boring, but I'm not bored. She's trying to cover it up because Leah is rude. I mean, and honestly, I don't know. I know that it's good to uh it's great of her to be in this group kind of setting for a week without having alcohol. I think that's commendable, right? But I don't know if you can do this kind of a trip for a week with being sober. So I want to, and then Liam wants to have this whole moment talking about how she is talking about how production and everyone didn't really care about her dealing with her grandmother and that she had to be there for the scene when she was in New York. And she was using this as an excuse as to why she was such a jerk to everybody. And um and then we begin to realize, oh no. Liam, you're a jerk. You're a jerk because you're just a jerk. So maybe you're more jerky because your grandmother was dying and you were affected by that. But I mean, you're not a cool person that you're trying to project yourself to be. So, um, so, sorry. Anyway, so she's a jerk. She lives to be a jerk, and I'm, whatever. So then we move on. So I'm not a fan of Leah. And it's so funny to me is because she's getting all upset because she feels that people were jumping on her, and Candace is sitting up here defending Leah, right? Defending Leah for being able to express herself, and then she's going to turn around and Leah's like seems to be unbothered in the whirlpool by herself, taking pictures of herself, and Candace is over here trying to be defending Leah and how she feels, thinking that Leah's over there all heartbroken. She don't seem heartbroken. I was like, oh Giselle, oh Candace. Now, interestingly enough, Candace and Giselle just finished their Potomac show, and which, oh God, I do not like the Potomac show. Anyway, and news just broke that is it Giselle's husband? Somebody, one of the husbands is suing Giselle, is trying to sue Giselle. Are they trying to? Whatever. But Giselle is the one who accused Candace's husband of making her feel uncomfortable. And so Leah, I think it's Leah who's bringing this up, and it becomes a very uncomfortable conversation. Candace and Giselle has all of these little snide comments to each other anyway, but they seem to be getting along. We all know that's not going to last long, but especially when Candace has this girls' night, she is in charge of one of the girls' nights. And during the girls' nights, Candace gives out names for everyone. And so Candace gives Giselle she called her Need a Man, or it's like Need a Man, Get a Man. And then she names Portia Take a Man. Anyway, so, and just really Giselle and Portia is the one who gets along the best. But Candace, I'm surprised at you for telling these people, especially with Giselle present, that you're having problems with your husband. Because I don't know if I'd be that transparent. I'd be transparent about some other stuff, but I would not be this transparent to be talking about how we had the biggest fight ever, especially when you're doing IV treatments, IVF treatments, and in the marriage kind of issue. And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about you sharing that, because I feel like that's going to come back and that's going to come back and really probably hurt you in the end. So yeah. Okay. So with that, then we jump to, oh yeah, Portia's the only one from Atlanta. So Portia and Giselle are kind of ponying it up with each other, but we knew it was bound to come up when Portia gives the finally she had to break out and explain how her and her husband got together, and she tries to explain that it wasn't as shady as people was thinking. It's like, ma'am, it's shady. Okay, so let's call a thing a thing. The thing is, you took her man, and then everyone, it was so funny is that every single person on the cast is like, well, I take him too. Look at the ring. I was like, oh, so yeah, so all of you guys are trifling. Okay, so we can all justify, but but I just love how, because my thing is, Portia, you meet this. Okay, she's talking about, well, I met him before. I didn't know yet then that I actually did meet him before. Oh, what does that have to do with the price of tea, China? You slid into his DMs to be like, oh, are you okay with your divorce? I was like, girl. And it reminds me of when I always think about this, like if when you think about if your marriage, how many people are probably waiting on the sidelines for when your marriage ends, or if there's a problem with your marriage or something like that, people are like instantly waiting. And anybody who would slide into my if I were to announce that my marriage is over, any dude who'd slide into my DMs, I would not respect that at all, because I would not think that, come on, I'm here for you. No, you're not here for me. I think I would, number one, I would flat out ignore you. So you're wasting your time. And then I would totally look at you like off. But I mean, when I was single, and but see, the thing is, when I was single and I was broke up with, and when I was single and I'd have a breakup with a boyfriend, I thought it was funny how sometimes their friends would reach out and be like, and slid into either they'd start texting me or they'd hit me up. They'd be like, "Oh, can I borrow stuff from you? Oh, are you okay?" Like and the thing is, sometimes we were all, um, especially when it was flat, we were all like, I was naive. I didn't think anything of it. I would just be like, I would hang out with them anyway, but it wouldn't be anything. And then when one of them like tried to literally lunge and try to kiss me, I was just like, wait a second, hold the phone. Like, it's not like that at all. We're homies. We've been homies. When did this happen? So I can only imagine, and I don't respect that at all. But, it's not my life. Whatever. Portia got married the woman's husband. Now, the Salt Lake City girls, Heather and Whitney, first of all, the fact that Whitney keeps pushing, well, she's my cousin, and when she's not standing here with me, and she's my cousin. First of all, you found out that y'all were cousins on season 1 of the show. Y'all were not like, y'all had no relationship at all before to even have a conversation like, we cousins, we in this together. Y'all were not in nothing together. Y'all were on the show that just so happened to find out that y'all were cousins. So spare me on the loyalty, whatever. So that, and then y'all going back and forth, and you're my cousin. So I expect nothing because I just met you as a cousin. So spare me on that part. Um, Heather actually talks about how she got the black eye. Now, her excuse of I must have hit my head in the cabinet. Okay. Even Giselle was like, sorry. Next excuse. Then it was I could have fell. Was it I could have fell? Was it the I could have fell story? And honestly, girl, all of us believe that um oh my gosh, what was that girl's name? The girl who went to jail. Hold on. Um, she hit you. And it's so funny to me, Jen Shaw. And it's so funny to me because this is Whitney's storyline. Heather had been there for Jen Shaw the whole time. She's lying in her face, and she's there for her more than she's ever there for me. And we're cousins, girl. If you don't sit down somewhere. Now, I will admit, Giselle is playing it up, which I'm here for Giselle to do this because I think that it's important for us to all see the play up, right? And Giselle is like, I'm gonna get the tea for y'all. Hold on, give me 2.2 seconds. And she's like, now, so Heather, you were with Jen Shaw the whole time, so she's been lying to you, right? Mm. And she's like, I don't want to believe that she was lying. I was with her the day before she went to jail. She decided to plead guilty, and it was a shock to us all, and blah blah blah. And then they played Jen Shaw crying. Um, and teach his own. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, like I said, that Jen Shaw, we all believe that Jen Shaw hit Heather, and let's just call a thing a thing. It is interesting. Heather was telling Whitney, like, I don't understand why you and Lisa are close or are you trying to be close to her because Lisa doesn't treat you well at all? And I was like, well, Lisa's Lisa. She's self-centered. So, um, Who else did I want to say anything else? They showed a preview to say how they eventually all kind of get into it, which I mean, it wouldn't be a show without them eventually all getting into it. It is just kind of interesting how, oh, that part. Okay. Portia tries to clear up how Candace was being mean to Ashley. And Portia was just like, can I finish my sentence? Can I finish my sentence? And she was trying to make Candace sound better. And Candace was like, no, I stand in what I said. I was being mean because I wanted to be mean. And what? I was like, oh, Portia, sit down. She is being mean because she wants to be mean. Okay. Okay. So there we are. Anyway, as a whole, um, it's an interesting bunch, I guess you can say. The thing is, because I think that they do have a pretty good group. The only person, like I said, Leah from New York, she's no longer on New York, but I don't watch New York for a plethora of reasons. I've tried, just it's just not for me. Just like you can't get me to go back to watch Potomac. It's just not my cup of tea. But I will tell you that the Miami girls and me, I was like, y'all have some real serious, like major drama that really would get somebody interested in watching this show for sure. But Leah reminds me of why I cannot stand New York. And and the Giselle Candace drama is so I do appreciate that Candace calls a spade, and it really makes Giselle back down, which I think is interesting. But Giselle is sitting back and is playing to me the producer role in which she is trying to get everyone to have all the different issues. She's asking all the questions that we all want to answer, we all want answered. So, and she seems to be not trying to have an enemy on the show or not trying to get anybody to dislike her. You know, of course, Candace and her are tolerating each other for the most part at this point. So I'm interested to see what happens. And I am going to come back to you with the Grown and Gospel show, which is a hot mess. Okay.